Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! Jameson stood before the mirror, his heart pounding in his chest. The reflection that stared back at him was unfamiliar, yet exhilarating. Draped across his lean frame was a stunning emerald green evening gown, its silky fabric cascading to the floor in elegant folds. Jameson's trembling fingers traced the intricate beadwork along the bodice, marveling at how the dress hugged his figure in all the right places. He had agonized over this purchase for weeks, sneaking furtive glances at the gown in the boutique window until he finally worked up the courage to step inside. Now, on the night of the company's annual formal dinner, Jameson was about to take the biggest risk of his life. He had always felt out of place in his own skin, uncomfortable with the expectations placed upon him as a man. But in this dress, he felt a glimmer of something he had never experienced before, a sense of rightness, of finally being true to himself. With shaking hands, Jameson applied a coat of deep red lipstick, the color bold against his pale skin. He had watched countless makeup tutorials in preparation for this moment, determined to present the best version of himself, or rather, herself. For tonight, Jameson would step out into the world as Evelyn. The taxi ride to the venue was a blur of nerves and second-guessing. Evelyn's palms were sweaty as she clutched her small evening bag, filled with emergency supplies and a change of clothes just in case things went horribly wrong. The car pulled up to the glittering hotel, and Evelyn took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. As she stepped out of the taxi, the cool night air kissed her bare shoulders. Evelyn straightened her spine, willing herself to exude a confidence she didn't quite feel. The click of her heels on the pavement echoed in the night as she made her way towards the entrance. The ballroom was a sea of elegance and sophistication. Chandeliers cast a warm glow over the gathered crowd, their light reflecting off sequins and jewelry. Evelyn hesitated at the threshold, her heart in her throat as she scanned the room for familiar faces. "Oh my God, you look absolutely stunning!" Evelyn turned to see her co-worker, Maria, approaching with a wide smile. Maria's own dress was a deep blue that complemented her dark skin beautifully. For a moment, Evelyn was frozen, unsure how to respond. Maria's eyes widened as recognition dawned. "Jameson, is that you? I almost didn't recognize you. You look incredible!" A wave of relief washed over Evelyn. "Thank you," she said softly, her voice higher and softer than usual. I go by Evelyn tonight." Maria's smile grew even brighter. "Well, Evelyn, you are rocking that dress. Come on, let me introduce you to everyone. They're going to love your look." Before Evelyn could protest, Maria had linked their arms and was guiding her through the crowd. To Evelyn's amazement, the reactions were overwhelmingly positive. Coworkers she had known for years greeted her with genuine compliments and warm smiles. "That color is perfect on you." "Where did you get those shoes? They're fabulous." "I'm so jealous of your makeup. You'll have to give me some tips." With each interaction, Evelyn felt a little of her nervousness melt away. The women, in particular, seemed thrilled to welcome her into their midst. As the night wore on, Evelyn found herself in the ladies' room, touching up her lipstick alongside her female colleagues. "Evelyn, honey, your eyeliner is a little smudged. Here, let me fix it for you," offered Samantha from accounting, reaching into her own makeup bag. "Oh, thank you," Evelyn replied, touched by the gesture. She tilted her chin up, allowing Samantha to carefully touch up her eye makeup. There. Perfect, Samantha declared with a satisfied nod. You know, we should have a girls' night soon. We could do makeovers, watch movies. What do you think? Evelyn's heart swelled with joy. I'd love that, she said, her voice filled with genuine emotion. As they rejoined the party, Evelyn caught sight of herself in one of the large mirrors lining the ballroom walls. The person staring back at her was radiant, confident, and truly happy. For the first time in her life, Evelyn felt like she was exactly who she was meant to be. The evening progressed, filled with laughter, dancing, and countless conversations. Evelyn found herself opening up in ways she never had before, sharing hopes and dreams she had long kept hidden. Her colleagues, in turn, embraced her with open arms, offering support and friendship without hesitation. As the night drew to a close, Evelyn stood on the balcony, gazing out at the twinkling city lights. The cool breeze ruffled the skirt of her gown, and she closed her eyes, savoring the moment. Evelyn? A gentle voice interrupted her reverie. She turned to see David, her supervisor, standing in the doorway. For a moment, fear gripped her heart. Would this be where it all fell apart? David stepped forward, a kind smile on his face. I just wanted to say how proud I am of you. It takes incredible courage to be true to yourself, especially in a professional setting. I want you to know that you have my full support, both personally and as your supervisor. Tears welled up in Evelyn's eyes, threatening to ruin her carefully applied mascara. Thank you, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. That means more than you know. David nodded, his expression warm. We're lucky to have you on our team, Evelyn. I look forward to seeing you continue to shine, both in your work and as yourself. As David left, Evelyn turned back to the city skyline, her heart full to bursting. The night had been more than she could have ever hoped for. She had stepped out into the world as her true self and found acceptance, support, and a newfound sense of belonging. In the days that followed, Evelyn's life underwent a beautiful transformation. Her colleagues, true to their word, embraced her new identity wholeheartedly. The promised girls' night materialized into a regular event, filled with laughter, bonding, and endless beauty tips. One particular evening stood out in Evelyn's memory. She arrived at Samantha's apartment, a bottle of wine in hand and a nervous flutter in her stomach. Despite the acceptance she had experienced, part of her still feared that it was all too good to be true. Samantha greeted her with a warm hug, ushering her into a living room filled with familiar faces. Maria, Lauren from HR, and several other women from the office were lounging on couches and chairs, already chatting animatedly. Evelyn's here, Samantha announced, and a chorus of greetings filled the air. Maria patted the spot next to her on the couch. Come sit. We were just about to start our makeovers. As Evelyn settled in, she was struck by how natural it all felt. The women around her didn't treat her any differently than they treated each other. She was simply one of the girls, accepted without question. Lauren leaned forward, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Okay, Evelyn, spill. Where did you learn to do your makeup so flawlessly? You always look amazing at work. Evelyn felt a blush creep up her cheeks. Oh, lots of practice and YouTube tutorials, I guess. I'm still learning, really. Well, you could have fooled me, Samantha chimed in. But if you're still learning, maybe we could all share our best tips and tricks? The next hour flew by in a flurry of makeup brushes, nail polish, and peals of laughter. Evelyn found herself opening up more than she ever had before, sharing stories of her journey to self-discovery and the fears she had overcome. I just can't believe how supportive everyone has been, Evelyn admitted, her voice soft. I was so terrified of how people would react. Maria reached out and squeezed her hand. Honey, you're our friend. We love you for who you are, not what you wear or how you identify. Plus, you have impeccable taste in shoes, which automatically makes you one of us. The room erupted in laughter, and Evelyn felt tears prick at her eyes. These women had become more than colleagues or even friends. They were her chosen family, accepting and supporting her unconditionally. As the night wore on, conversation flowed freely. They discussed everything from workplace gossip to relationship woes, with Evelyn contributing just as much as anyone else. For the first time in her life, she felt truly seen and heard. When it was time to leave, Evelyn found herself lingering at the door, reluctant to end the evening. Samantha pulled her into a tight hug. Same time next week? She asked with a smile. Evelyn nodded, her heart full. I wouldn't miss it for the world. The following days at work were filled with a new sense of ease and confidence. Evelyn began to experiment more with her style, no longer feeling the need to hide who she truly was. Her work performance soared as she channeled the energy she had once spent on hiding into her projects and collaborations. One afternoon, as Evelyn was preparing a presentation, David knocked on her office door. Do you have a moment? He asked, his expression unreadable. Evelyn nodded, gesturing for him to enter. As David took a seat, she noticed he was holding a folder. I wanted to discuss your performance over the past few months, David began, and Evelyn felt her heart rate quicken. Despite the support she had received, a part of her still feared that her transition might negatively impact her career. David opened the folder, revealing a series of charts and reports. Evelyn, your work has always been excellent, but since you've embraced your true self, you've exceeded all expectations. Your productivity has increased, your collaborative skills have improved, and the feedback from clients has been overwhelmingly positive. Relief and pride washed over Evelyn as David continued. In light of this, I'm recommending you for a promotion to senior project manager. You've more than earned it. Tears of joy welled up in Evelyn's eyes. Thank you, David. I don't know what to say. David smiled warmly. You don't need to say anything. Your work speaks for itself. I'm proud to have you on our team, Evelyn. You're an inspiration to all of us. As David left her office, Evelyn sat back in her chair, overwhelmed by emotion. She had taken an enormous risk in revealing her true self to her colleagues, and not only had they accepted her, but she was thriving in ways she never thought possible. The weeks turned into months, and Evelyn's life continued to evolve. She began to mentor other employees who were struggling with their own identities, sharing her experiences and offering support. The company, recognizing the positive impact of diversity and inclusion, asked Evelyn to help develop new policies and training programs. 1 year after that fateful company dinner, Evelyn found herself standing before a mirror once again. This time, she was preparing for a company-wide diversity gala that she had helped organize. The woman who looked back at her was confident, successful, and above all, authentically herself. Her emerald green gown from that first night hung in her closet, a cherished memento of the beginning of her journey. Tonight, she wore a stunning silver gown that shimmered with every movement, a reflection of how far she had come. As Evelyn applied the finishing touches to her makeup, her phone buzzed with messages from her friends, wishing her luck and expressing excitement for the evening ahead. She smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. These were the people who had stood by her, who had helped her become the woman she was always meant to be. The gala was a resounding success. Evelyn delivered a powerful speech about the importance of creating an inclusive workplace, her voice strong and clear as she shared her own story. As she looked out at the sea of faces, colleagues, friends, and even a few teary-eyed executives, she felt a profound sense of purpose. After the speeches, as the attendees mingled and enjoyed the evening, Evelyn found herself surrounded by a group of young employees. Their eyes were bright with admiration and hope.
"Your story is so inspiring,"
one of them said.
"I've been struggling with my own identity, and seeing you up there, so confident and successful, it gives me hope."
Evelyn felt her heart swell with emotion. She reached out, gently squeezing the young person's hand. "There's always hope," she said softly. "Be true to yourself, and you'll find your people. They're out there, waiting to support and love you for who you are." As the night wound down, Evelyn stepped out onto a balcony, much like she had done a year ago. The city lights twinkled below, a reminder of how vast and full of possibility the world truly was. She took a deep breath, savoring the cool night air and the sense of peace that had settled over her. A year ago, she had been terrified of showing the world her true self. Now, she stood tall, proud of who she was and the journey she had undertaken. Evelyn realized that by embracing her authentic self, she hadn't just changed her own life. She had opened doors for others and helped create a more understanding and accepting world. As she gazed out at the city, Evelyn made a silent promise to herself. She would continue to be a beacon of hope for others, to fight for acceptance and understanding, and to live every day as her truest, most authentic self. The journey hadn't always been easy, but standing here now, Evelyn knew without a doubt that it had been worth every step. The sound of laughter drifted out from the gala, and Evelyn turned, a smile playing on her lips. Her friends were waiting, her chosen family that had embraced her without hesitation. With one last look at the twinkling city lights, Evelyn straightened her shoulders and walked back into the warmth of the ballroom, ready to continue writing the next chapter of her beautiful, authentic life. As she rejoined the party, Evelyn was immediately enveloped in a group hug by Maria, Samantha, and Lauren. Their joy was palpable, a testament to the genuine bonds of friendship that had formed over the past year. "There's our star of the night!" Maria exclaimed, her eyes shining with pride. "That speech was incredible, Evelyn. You had everyone in tears. Good tears, of course." Samantha nodded in agreement. "You've come so far. Remember that first girls' night? You were so nervous, and now look at you, commanding a room full of executives and changing company policy. We're so proud of you." Evelyn felt a lump form in her throat. "I couldn't have done any of this without you all," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "Your support has meant everything to me." Lauren raised her champagne glass. "To Evelyn," she said, "for showing us all the power of being true to yourself." As they clinked glasses, Evelyn looked around at the faces of her friends, colleagues, and supporters. Each person in this room had played a part in her journey, from the coworkers who had embraced her that first night, to the executives who had championed her ideas for a more inclusive workplace. The gala continued late into the night, a celebration not just of diversity and inclusion, but of the power of acceptance and love. As the last of the guests began to leave, Evelyn found herself in a quiet corner with David.
"I hope you know how much you've changed this company for the better,"
David said, his voice sincere.
"Your courage has inspired so many people to be themselves, and it's made us stronger as a team."
Evelyn smiled, feeling a sense of pride wash over her. "Thank you, David, for everything. Your support from the very beginning made all of this possible." As they said their goodbyes, Evelyn realized that this night marked not an ending, but a new beginning. She had found her voice, her strength, and her place in the world. The journey ahead was full of possibilities, and for the first time in her life, Evelyn was excited to face whatever challenges might come. In the days and weeks that followed, Evelyn's impact continued to ripple outward. She received emails and messages from people all over the company, sharing their own stories and thanking her for her bravery. Some were just beginning their own journeys of self-discovery, while others had been inspired to stand up for inclusivity in their own departments. Evelyn took each message to heart, responding with words of encouragement and support. She knew firsthand how powerful it could be to have someone believe in you, and she was determined to pay that kindness forward. Her newfound confidence extended beyond the workplace as well. Evelyn began volunteering at local LGBTQ+ support groups, sharing her story and offering guidance to those who were struggling. She found a deep sense of fulfillment in helping others navigate the challenges she had once faced alone. One evening, as Evelyn was leaving a support group meeting, she ran into Maria in the parking lot. "Evelyn, what are you doing here?" Maria asked, surprised but smiling. Evelyn explained about her volunteer work, and Maria's eyes lit up. "That's amazing! I'm here to support my nephew. He just came out to our family. Would you mind talking to him sometime? I think your story could really help him." Without hesitation, Evelyn agreed. As they walked back into the building together, she felt a profound sense of purpose. Her journey hadn't just been about finding herself. It was about creating a world where everyone could feel free to be who they truly were. In the months that followed, Evelyn's life continued to flourish. She threw herself into her new role at work, implementing innovative strategies that not only improved productivity, but also fostered a more inclusive and supportive work environment. Her success didn't go unnoticed, and soon she was being invited to speak at industry conferences about the importance of diversity in the workplace. On a personal level, Evelyn's relationships deepened and grew. The bonds she had formed with her female colleagues evolved into true friendships that extended far beyond the office. Weekend brunches, shopping trips, and movie nights became regular occurrences, filled with laughter, support, and the kind of easy companionship Evelyn had always dreamed of, but never thought she'd experience. One sunny Saturday afternoon, as Evelyn and her friends were enjoying a picnic in the park, she found herself overcome with emotion. Watching Maria and Samantha playfully argue over the last cookie, Lauren sprawled out on the blanket with a book, and the others chatting and laughing, Evelyn realized just how far she had come. "Are you okay?" Lauren asked, noticing Evelyn's teary eyes. Evelyn nodded, a warm smile spreading across her face. "I'm more than okay," she said. "I'm just happy. Truly, completely happy." The women gathered around her, enveloping Evelyn in a group hug that spoke volumes about the love and acceptance she had found. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the park, Evelyn looked at her friends, her chosen family, and felt a sense of peace settle over her. She had taken a leap of faith that night at the company dinner, stepping out into the world as her true self, and the world had embraced her with open arms. Evelyn knew that there would always be challenges ahead. The fight for acceptance and equality was far from over. But as she sat there, surrounded by love and support. She felt ready to face whatever the future might hold. She had found her place in the world, her voice, and her strength. As they packed up their picnic and prepared to head home, Evelyn took one last look at the setting sun. Its warm, golden light reminded her of the glow she had seen in the mirror that first night, when she had donned her emerald green gown and taken her first steps towards authenticity. With a heart full of gratitude and hope, Evelyn linked arms with her friends and walked towards the future, a future that was brighter and more beautiful than she had ever dared to dream.
Thanks for watching, my girlies! Be sure to check out Patreon for more!